Who has time to read a book? This is what I'm going to cover today, and I'm going to show you how to read a book in one day. Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back once again, banging out these videos just for you. Today's topic, how to read a book in one day. Today's selection, right there, right? Self-made millionaire. Generate your wealth like a millionaire, right? Great book. It's by Brian Koslow and co-authored by Dr. Merrill. Great book. And I'm going to show you guys how I actually passed through it. All right, before I do that and we actually walk through the literal step-by-step process that I apply, which helps me make this book my counsel, okay, basically like my go-to people without them actually being present here with me. All right, I want to read to you some of the steps that I apply and why reading a book a day works for me and how it works for me. So in this case, I have 3 to 4 passes that I do when I choose the book I'm going to read. Now, mind you, the book that you read, it can't just be, it can't be a fairy tale, fiction books. This is not going to apply. The whole purpose of the fiction book is to read it, front to back, right? However, nonfiction books that have information that you are trying to learn and apply in your life, that is the book you want. Because at the end of the day, you all understand, I hope, right, if you've paid attention in class, right, the exact requirements of a 5-paragraph essay, let's just say, okay? What is that? What does that consist of, right? So you have your introductory, right, it's first paragraph. You have your body, which is typically 3 paragraphs, right? And then you have your conclusion, right, or your summary, right? And that's the last. So let's dissect that for a second, right? How does the body become the body? Well, the introductory of the actual 5-paragraph essay, we're breaking this down, okay? We're going to get down to the bones, right? So the introductory is typically whatever the topics are that you want to cover. So like I said, 3 paragraphs as your body. So that means that in your introductory, you want to have maybe 3 topics, or maybe 1 primary topic and 2 subtopics, but you want to have 3 general things that you're trying to get across to the reader, right? Okay, so that's going to be your introductory, okay? Then the body is going to be the breakdown. It's going to go into further explanation on those topics, right? So if you're unfamiliar with those topics, you're probably going to want to read into the body and read a little further and see what message the writer is trying to get across to you. Does that make sense? Okay, so taking that further, right, you then look at the summary, the conclusion, and all it's doing is rewording the introduction, right? So you took it, you summarized introduction into the point that you wanted to get across from each one of those, and here it is, your 5-paragraph essay. Bam, just that simple, right? So understanding that, you know that when you get a book, and it's a book like this, for example, right? Great book. I'm sure they have lots of extremely valid points in this book that they're trying to cover. However, I'm pretty sure that the editor was like, hey, this is great material, okay? I love it. However, it's dry. It's dry. We're going to need to add some stories, some examples. Let's pull some stuff that's related to these topics in here. Let's thicken it up a little bit, okay? Let's add some fluff. Right? Now, sometimes for some people, depending on the type of learner you are, okay, what are there? There's visual, right? There's auditory, reading, and listening, right? And then there's hands-on, right? So for that person that's applying their eyes, their visual, and their reading, through that process, maybe they need the examples, okay, that help them understand the terms or the concepts that are in each topic, right? So that helps the author elaborate a little further and get their point across. Does that make sense? Right? So if you know that already and you know what you're getting yourself into, hey, I'm going to read this book on, let's see, generating wealth like a millionaire. Okay. What does this mean exactly? Right? So it's intriguing already. You see the word millionaire, you're like, hey, I want to be that. Right? So then you're like, okay, so I wonder what it is that they have to say. That's actually a great concept on how to meet somebody and talk to someone you've never talked to before. You look at that person you've never met before and you're like, hey, I bet that person has something interesting to say. And that curiosity you sparked in your mind, bam, go over there and talk to that person, right? That's how you do it. Anyway, all right, so knowing with this book, all right, that there's going to be something in there that I'm going to want to know, but I want to get through this book and I want to get past the fluff. I just want the nuts and bolts, right? So that's what I do, right? And I get what I want. Now, does that mean that from front to back, the old school adage, that's the way you have to read the book, that's the only way I'm going to get it? No, because you have to keep something in mind. You could read a book today and you ever find yourself reading and it's like you have to read the same paragraph again because you got lost. You weren't focused. Then you find yourself reading the same sentence maybe once or twice again. You're like, why am I not absorbing this? Put the book down, put it away, right? You aren't ready for that book right now. Your mind's not there. You have to be at the right point. So by doing several passes in the book, looking for specific pieces of information will help you retain more. Okay, that book becomes your go-to. It becomes your Google. Okay, so you do that. Literally pinpoint the topics that you want and that you want to focus on. And that's what I do. So when I make my passes, my first pass in the book is I read the front cover. Okay, I read the back, right? And then I'm going to brush through the table of contents. I'm already going to get an idea on what it is. What are the points, depending on how many different topics there are, how many chapters there are that I'm going to want to get out of this book. I need those points. I need to know. That's going to help me determine whether or not I'm going to spark curiosity, right, in the topic and actually find something that I want, that I'm going to want to come back to. And then it's going to give me a general understanding of the material that they're talking about in the book. Does that make sense? So that's what I want to do. That's my first pass, my first look into the book. That's probably going to take me all of maybe, I don't know, 10 minutes. Not even, I'm sorry, wait a minute, what am I talking about? No, that's going to take me like 2 minutes, right? I'm just going to go right through it, front, back, done, right? 120 seconds. Okay, so second pass. This is going to take a little longer, right? I want to read the first paragraph. I'm looking at my notes here so I can make sure I tell you guys exactly what I'm looking for. I want to read the first paragraph of every chapter. Just the first paragraph, okay? Because of what I told you before. In the first paragraph, okay, they're covering what they're going to elaborate further on, okay? Sometimes not in that depth. Sometimes, if you look at it, it might be spread out a little further, okay? But you'll know when you're getting it or not. So if they are getting a little further out there in the left field, you're like, whoa, they're kind of out there. Okay, you know that. So then when you come back to that chapter later on, you know what to expect there. Some of them, they're immediately going to give you their point that they're trying to cover in that chapter, and bam, you know that too, right? So you have to understand the parameters in there. You have to think outside the box. Don't allow yourself to get trapped and sucked into believing that there's one way to achieve knowledge, because there isn't, right? I mean, eventually one day, if Neuralink starts to work with Elon Musk, we can just upload it like the Matrix, right? That'd be pretty cool. I know that's not his initial concept, but I could see that coming, right? So then we got my third pass. All right, so my third pass, I want to pick the most identifying chapter that I'm identifying with, I connect with. And I'm going to read that chapter front to back in depth. Why? because I feel like if I identify it right then and there, I identify with that topic, then that's exactly what I want. Okay, because I'm going to absorb it. I have a desire to know more. I may not identify with the other topics. So why am I going to force myself to read that? Right? So this applies with school as well. Okay, because in school, you have to read certain materials, especially in the tough to read books that are just straight facts and information. Okay, especially when they're flooded with facts. So you have to create a game plan. You're like, all right, I'm going to read through it all once. Second time, I'm going to highlight it to death. Third time, I'm going to dog ear it and underline, right? So if you don't create those different passes that you're going to do, it's going to be harder for you to retain that stuff, right? I can promise you, though, that the more times you read it out loud, write it down, things of that nature, you're going to start hitting all the different types of cognitive learning that sticks in your brain. You're going to start really retaining. Okay, there's no secret. Okay, you just have to do it. Now, unfortunately, people are getting lazier and lazier, but it's not that hard, right? Especially nowadays. Like, you just pay attention, and you'll get it. I promise you. Right? So why do we do this? Why read a book a day? Why not sit and just burn time? Well, first of all, if you could read it and get through it in that day, you've gained knowledge that you didn't have, right? I think I got 4 points I want to cover here, right? 2, you save time, right? You're saving time reading that book and just covering the point that you wanted to get across. What's another one? You avoid the fluff, right? Because, I mean, if you don't need the example, then don't use the examples. Get past it, right? Once you got it and you understand the term, you're like, oh, got it. Okay, move past it. You don't need to know where it originated back in 1984 and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? Why, right? So, and then, everyone absorbs information differently. So when you're skipping through it and you're doing what you need to do, you're doing it for you. You're not reading it according to someone else's method of learning and absorption rate, right? So don't force yourself to do something that you don't like to do. Right? Does that make sense? So, all right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm literally going to do this right here with you right now. And I'm going to kind of turn. And I want to show you as I'm doing it, because I want to show you how easy it is. It's really not that hard. Bam. So we look at the book right here. Self-Made, Generate Your Wealth Like a Millionaire. All right. Obviously, the big text, Self-Made Millionaire. That's the big blue text there. So they're telling you that because bam, that's eye-capturing, whoever decided to design the cover of the book. That's how they know, because if they sold you the book like this, you'd be like, So they wrap it in a nice, pretty little wrapping here, like a gift, right? And bam, there's your golden nugget. What are you going to do with it, right? They shined it up for you, all right? So then we got the back of it, right? What did I say? We're going to go to the back. Think rich, get rich. From national best-selling author of 365 Ways to Become a Millionaire Without Being Born One, right? Already inspiring. You're reading it, so like, oh, okay. And then we have some quotes, right? To read Self-Made is to make an invaluable investment in your own success. Within the pages of this book are the keys to building the right relationships for success, equipping yourself with the mindset and skill set shared by millionaires across the globe, right? And identifying and acting on opportunities to turn them into profitable ventures for you and your family. Great. Imagine your brain being retrained to see and act on wealth building opportunities, right? The same way that the wealthy do, right? Well, with Self-Made, Generate Your Wealth Like a Millionaire, you will gain access to the beliefs and actions that have a proven track record of attracting and generating success. What's more, you will learn the best ways to cultivate and leverage opportunities and acquire the millionaire skills needed to convert your dreams into personal fulfillment and financial freedom. So well worded. I'm like, wow. Okay. And then they have bullet points. Instantly establish your credibility with others. Have people believe you and believe in you. right? Turn your intentions into results. Utilize the 14 essential dynamics to increase the value of your services. That's already telling me they have something in there I'm looking for already, right? Master business relationships to generate extraordinary results. Transform confrontations into winning outcomes, right? Turn wealth building opportunities into financial success. Dude, all I did was read the front and read the back. And look how much information you got already. You haven't even read the book yet, right? And you already know what it's going to be about. And I open it up. I'm like, all right, so what do we got here? It's pretty safe to say that this book is about 285, maybe 290 pages, right? But we're going to read all of that? No. Do we need to? No. Maybe you do sometimes, maybe you don't, but where's the rules? There's no rules that says you must do this, right? I'm sure they have recommendations in here, like what you need to do and this and that, but how I retain this is specific to me, right? How you buy this book and retain it is specific to you, right? That's what we got to get past. Get away from all the BS, all the rules, all the confined ways of thinking. What are we doing here, right? We're all individuals, right? We all have different ways of doing things. Let's get past that. All right, so we got a table of contents. Right? Okay, so table of contents. We got 2 pages of table of contents. Quickly, I said we're going to pass through this, right? So there's a section. So quickly, I see that there's 3 sections that have subsections. Okay, section 1, the first principle of self-made millionaires, the wealth mindset. Chapter 1, credibility. Make it or break it in 3 seconds or less. Whoa. Chapter 2, transform your beliefs. Chapter 3, the power of doubt. Chapter 4, adopt new wealth-generating beliefs. Chapter 5, transforming intention into results. Chapter 6, the power of being proactive. Chapter 7, rejection as a gateway to opportunity. I love it. Chapter 8, focus, the uncommon trait, right? Chapter 9, establishing your grand vision. Man, this is awesome, right? Section 2, the second principle of self-made millionaires, mutually advantageous relationships. I see where this is going. Chapter 10, from me to we, the critical importance of relationships. Chapter 11, expanding the range and scope of your relationships. Chapter 12, making relationships facilitators work for you. I like this. Chapter 13, essential dynamics of mutually advantageous relationships. Chapter 14, beyond credibility, the 8 stages of mutually advantageous business relationships, right? Chapter 15, finding your ideal business partner. 16, mastering confrontation and resolving conflicts. This is great, chapter 16. Here we go. Oh, got my beautiful wrapping paper falling off. All right, here we go. Section 3, right? The third principle of self-made millionaires. Millionaire skills. Okay, chapter 17, the power of purpose. 18, foundation skills and the power of first impressions. Ooh. 19, harnessing the potential of people. 20, discovering your blind spots. 21, unveiling your uniqueness. Ooh. 22, choosing faith over fear. The ultimate self-made skill. Crazy. Now, I slowed it down because I'm reading it to you. Reading it to myself, obviously, I would have gotten through that really quickly. On this recording, it probably took, 3 minutes to do that, maybe 4, right? However, I would have done it a lot quickly. That was my first pass, right? My second pass, what did I say that I'm going to do? Okay, I'm going to read the first paragraph of every chapter, okay? Now, I've already done it because for the sake of time, I don't want to draw you guys out. But I've literally dog-eared it and highlighted every one of them because I wanted to get through, right, every chapter and understand what it is that I'm identifying as the first paragraph in each chapter. So I'm just going to pick one randomly. I'm just going to pick a dog ear. Bam. Chapter 14, beyond credibility. The 8 stages of mutually advantageous business relationships. I said that one in the table of contents, right? Here we go. The highlighted section that I put here. At this point, You made a list of your personal contacts, brushed up on the basics of human relationships, and rallied the right relationship facilitators to your cause. You've set up the basic framework. You are ready to start making those new connections that will propel you forward toward financial success. Excellent work. Now what? It all starts with credibility, but it doesn't end there. There are 8 stages of developing mutually advantageous business relationships into successful ventures. Every wealth generating opportunity relies on the relationships and the connections you forged. And as those connections grow and develop, so will your business. Below, we've outlined 8 stages of every new venture that act as benchmarks on your journey to becoming self-made. I love it, right? And then they did it, right? So knowing that right there, I know what I'm going to cover in here. They're going to have me go deeply into different topics that have to do with what I'm looking for, my benchmarks, like it says. It's all in there, right? First one it says is stage 1, credibility. Credibility was in the sentence. It even says it all starts with credibility. I just read that, right? Credibility, the start of that next one. Let's see. The next one said exploratory. This is the beginning of the second stage, and it revolves around credibility, exploring synergies to see how the relationship can generate mutual value. Let's see. Opportunities relies on relationships and connections you forged. Literally, going into there and breaking it down, it has it there. So I know what I'm going to get into when I read just that introductory part, just from this example I gave you guys. Okay, the proof's in the pudding, right? And you know what I love about this book, what makes it awesome is they have awesome quotes at the beginning of every chapter. Here's one by Zig Ziglar. You can have everything in your life you want if you just help enough other people to get what they want. Think about that. You can have everything in life you want if you just help enough other people to get what they want. Right? Makes sense, because if you're helping enough other people get what they want and you do it with a genuine desire to help them, you're going to get what you want, right? Because obviously there's going to be payment for your time, right? And that payment, whatever you receive in payment, whatever you needed to justify as income from that, you're going to use towards the things that you desire. And it helps you get what you want. So every time you do that, you get what I'm just dissecting that quote, right? Zig Ziglar hit it on a nail right there. Great guy to look into, incredibly knowledgeable sales tactics and approaches. Let's pick another one randomly. I don't know. Here we go. Chapter 7. I just picked the dog ear section that I got here. All right. Rejection as a gateway to opportunity. Here's the intro. And it starts off with, I told you, you got to be careful. It starts off with a fluff. Okay, and I say a fluff because it's going to give an example. It actually starts off with naming someone. But watch how they quickly get into their point. Okay, Theodore Geisel, hope I said that right, was a well-known advertising cartoonist during the 1920s. Geisel was highly successful, known for his work on national ads for brands such as Mobil Oil. But Geisel harbored a secret dream to do something quite different from commercial advertising. He wanted to write books for children. One day he sat down and wrote a children's book and promptly sent it off to more than 20 publishers in New York. Every single publisher who saw the book rejected it. Okay, so you hear what it is. I already know that this is starting off, and it's that he used to cover this point with an example of a story of someone that was rejected clearly several times, and I just identified that in the first introduction to the paragraph. So I know where this is going. I know what chapter 7 is going to do. So if I want to know more about rejection as a gateway to opportunity, I'm going to read further on how he used that. But I can tell you right now, it's the law of numbers. Okay, you're going to keep sending your stuff out there, and you're not going to stop, because this is what you want. And eventually, okay, it's going to make you work harder on it, because every time you get rejected, be smart about it. Hey, so I understand you didn't like something about that. Can you tell me what you thought differently about it? What made you decide that this wasn't a fit for you? And then they're going to give you their information, their thoughts, right? And you're going to take that. So every time you're rejected, sit back and apply it, make the changes. Because then the next person that gets it, at least you know they're not going to reject it for that, right? And then you might be like, you know what, this is awesome. I just wish you hadn't have handwritten it. Next thing you know, you take it all back and it's typed, right? And you send it to the next person. I don't know. I'm giving you examples, but you understand what I'm talking about, right? And I just picked two in there. So that was my second pass, right? My second pass, I gave you two examples how that works and how the introduction of every chapter is already the nuts and bolts. So you know what you're going to get yourself into. Like I said, my third pass, I'm going to find exactly what I want. And when I cover that topic, okay, after looking at everything, let's say, I don't know, looking at this right here, let's say for whatever reason, I don't know, chapter 20, Discovering Your Blind Spots, page 237. So then I come all the way back here to 237, and I'm going to read this chapter. Not to you. Not right now. I'm not going to kill you with it. Okay? And I'm going to understand what it is that they're talking about. Okay? And what's unique about this book is they have something called Millionaire Tips. Okay? So in every one of the chapters, there's going to be one or two millionaire tips. Some chapters, they don't have one because it doesn't apply. In this one, on chapter 20, okay, there's millionaire tip number 16. So that tells you right there. It's not in every chapter. Okay? And it says, every environment and situation offers a host of opportunities. When you are self-made, you have a certainty that's driven by your underlying beliefs. Being able to hear, see, and identify opportunities is possible for anyone, anywhere, provided you are willing to train yourself to notice the things that you are not noticing now. You get that? That's what I meant about absorption point. Okay? Spend time with people who are experts in areas different from yours. You'll find that you each will notice things that the other person does not. By questioning and broadening your understanding, your beliefs will start to shift and you will identify opportunities that you didn't notice before. Amazing. And then there's a summary. Okay? So I know that I can read the introduction, I can read the summary at the end, and cover all my points and get right through it, okay? Because like the other one where I saw that it was clearly getting into a story, if I don't want to read the story, I'm going to go quickly to the summary. That was chapter 7 where we were talking about it, right? So I'm going to quickly go to chapter 7 summary, and I want to read the Cliff Notes, essentially is what that is. And that's it. This is what makes reading a book a day a beneficial thing for yourself, okay? I jumped right into it on this one, all right? And I really wanted to make sure you guys got like some really solid information. I don't like to try to entertain you. I want to feed you the information because 9 times out of 10, there's misinformation out there and people aren't delivering it or they're not covering the common sense that's there. Hence why, you know, I like to do these book reviews. I like to really dig in and give you the knowledge that sometimes is missed or is completely just misconstrued, right? So you know what I want you to do? I want you to like and subscribe. I didn't say it before, so I'm saying it now. Like and subscribe if you watch this video all the way through. Check me out. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep dropping knowledge on you guys. All right? I need you to be safe. Take it easy out there. Peace.